Hello and welcome along to episode 2 of this Build a Nation story, Building Bangor City, with me, Daniel. We're back today for our first game in the second tier of Welsh League football. We've already had a couple of cup games to warm up and we have had a massive, busy transfer special which has caused us to upset our owner already. So this is going to be a bit of an interesting episode and it's going to be a very interesting season because I've got a feeling we're going to have some clashes in the boardroom and it's for something that's outside of our control. So we'll talk a little bit about that in a minute, meet our tactic, meet our new signings and of course get into our first game away at Buckley. So if you are looking forward to this one, please do put a big thumbs up on the video, subscribe to the channel for daily FM21 content from 2 long-term stories. You can catch up with episode 1 of this series if you missed it in the eye above, as well as the playlist for the head coach and our live stream series with Wigan Athletic, both of which have gone fantastically, so thank you so much for your incredible support. We've got loads coming up over the next few weeks, so please do turn that notification bell on and you'll get alerts as daily content releases here on the channel. But we've got to move very swiftly on today because we have got a lot of news at Bangor City. Now, you may remember when we joined the club, part of the culture was to sign players Italian and Argentinian. Now that in itself isn't a problem, but that's not actually what it said, which is what I read last time. What it actually says is to buy players based in Italy and based in Argentina. And even though we can find some players of those nationalities, they're based in England or Wales or in the UK generally. So we're having real trouble meeting this club vision. The owner is devastated by it. Thankfully, we're on course in other areas, which means that we're not getting sacked yet. But I've got a feeling that I'm going to have to load Italy and Argentina's leagues because I've done scouting focuses to find players based in those nations and we've not found anyone. So I've got a feeling that's the only way I'm going to survive. But that can't happen until the end of the season. So I'm going to have to find a way to get through this year and we're going to have to perform really well if we want to keep our job. I've got a director of footballing. I've set them to sign players as well or to initiate transfers. They've not found any either. So it is a big problem for us, but we're going to try and get through it for the season. And then hopefully next year we'll be in the top tier, we'll have that bigger reputation and we'll be able to get those 2 leagues loaded in. But as you can see, we've already got some goal scorers and we have played a couple of competitive games, but they included some of our new signings. So let's go and meet all of the transfers. I pre-warn you, we had a good squad, but it's a busy one. We've signed probably a whole team's worth of players and we've let a fair few out on loan as well. So let's start with the transfers. It has been a very busy window for Bangor City. And it went pretty much as we expected. We spent most of July trying to get players out of the club, out of the squad on loan. We managed to get a few fees in as well, which is great. And then sort of before August, the main priority was getting staff in. So we only had the one signing that was in the early scout reports. And then from August, it's just been chaos, especially deadline day, where we filled the rest of the squad out. But let's start with the outs very quickly. Welf de Silva has gone to Aberystwyth in the top tier. Only 2-star and he was a winger, so he wasn't going to fit into our tactic. The same for Piero Calterucci. He's gone to the same club, can play centre midfield or left back, but he wasn't good enough. And he got a good offer, most of his wages paid, we had to let him go. Lucas Serba has gone to Argentina, £1,000 a month almost and the wages paid. Not a good enough centre half and 28 now. There was no harm in him going. James Thomas to Preseason on a permanent deal. He's 35 years of age now and he was falling off a cliff physically. So he's going after just 4 appearances for our club. We did decide to loan out Emmanuel Agyemang in the end. He's already improving at Bala. Played a Europa League game off the bench and scored. Maybe he'll improve enough to be in our squad next year. We'll have to wait and see. But he's certainly a prospect. The same goes for Salvatore Pasquarella, who's gone on loan to Aberystwyth as well. 3rd player of ours going there. And he looks another one that's going to improve for the future. Nicholas Nassini went to Newtown, another top tier side, this time for £150 a week. Another winger, doesn't fit into our shape. And Eugenio Dahlia went on deadline day as we strengthened enough to let the utility man go. £120 a week to Flint Town, who are remarkably in the top tier this year. And they've got a few good little players as well. So I'd imagine Dahlia's going to come back a better player, which might suit us next year. So you may recognise a few of the signings nearer the top certainly. There's a couple of experienced Englishmen in there, but let's go through them in order. So we've got Ted Molden, who was the first one in. He is 4.5-star ability, 5-star potential, right back and centre half. And he is by far the standout in the squad still in terms of ability. He's a really good pro, excellent technical skills and solid across the board elsewhere. Good personality. and I feel like he could be a leader before too long. So Ted Malden is someone I'm very excited about. I know our tactic probably doesn't suit fullbacks so much. It's not going to be the best thing for him because he's not going to get the greatest chance to bomb forward. We're playing with a very narrow pitch at home, which we'll talk about later. But Ted Malden is a superstar in making. On the other side of the defence, we've got Jack Bolton coming in on loan. He's come from Accrington on a 1-year loan deal. No wage contribution, 3-star ability, and just a solid defensive fullback, which is exactly what we needed. And at 18 years of age, he'll get football as well, which is exactly what he needs. After that, though, we turn to a little bit of experience. Joe Healy comes in as a central midfielder who can also play on the left if we do need to desperately include wingers. He's got 3-star ability at 33 years of age, losing his pace, losing that side of it, but still got the fitness and stamina, still got the technical ability, and still works very hard. So a good journeyman, and I'm sure he'll be able to do a job for us in that Carolero role. Moving into the strike force, we've brought in a target man, which is exactly what we needed. Chris O'Grady, who's already off the mark on debut in the Cup. A brilliant target man, known well from his times at Bolton, Chesterfield, Burton. He's played for so many clubs. Barnsley used to be a big goal scorer, and Sheffield Wednesday as well. So he brings a wealth of experience with him. He's going to be a first choice striker, and he is going to be key to our promotion push. I'm very sure of that. Another one with a good personality as well. Next one was brought in by the director of football, who we'll meet in a minute. He made the bid for this guy, Samuel Fanian. He is 3.5-star ability, 5-star potential. Released from Reading, the 19-year-old. Can play on the right wing, again if we need to change shape. But a striker mainly. A poacher and better than the ones we had. So we talked about a couple of the young lads who could have been stars for us this season. They've both had a lot of injury problems in pre-season, and that's been an issue for me. But this guy solves that problem. He is a superstar. He will start alongside O'Grady for the first game, and I feel like he could be a goal scorer. So let's wait and see if we're right on him. Lucas Murray comes in next. He is a backup centre-half, just a squad player really. He does the job for us on 95 quid a week. It's peanuts. He's Welsh, he's homegrown in the country, having come through at Newport, but he's a decent player, and if we need a backup centre-half, we've got one in him. Next on the director of football list was Ben Atkinson. He is a central midfielder who we paid £2,800 for. 3-star ability, 4-star potential, natural in that Carolero role, which we're going to use a lot. He's a good passer of the ball, he's good physically, and mentally he's very strong. I mean, he looks a good solid player all round. He came in from Farsley Celtic. He's got a host of experience in English non-league, Bryhouse and Curzon Ashton before that. He just looks a good addition, so I've no complaints with him joining. Next up is Owen Moore. I think he's the final director of football signing. A backup on that right-hand side, 3.5 ability, 5-star potential. He's just a good solid player. Probably too good to be a backup in truth. But because he was the only one available, he's the one we've now got in. So another good addition, and we're very strong at right fullback. Then 4 deadline day signings to bolster the squad. Kian Yari was first. He's a backup attacking midfielder for our purposes. 2.5-star ability, 5-star potential. Just 100 quid a week again, and a really solid addition. Good passer, good vision, decent personality. He likes a goal as well, which we don't mind in our midfielders. James Boots is probably the 2nd star of the window. 4-star ability central midfielder. He will come in and be first choice. He's an absolute superstar. Just coming back from an injury, so will miss out today, unfortunately. But I think moving forward, him alongside Malden could be the future for this football club. Former experience at Poole, came through at Bournemouth, and now plying his trade in Wales with Bangor City. 2 more to go. Tyrese Kennedy-Williams is a backup left-back. 2.5-star ability, 5-star potential. He's not great, but he's cheap, 110 quid a week, and he was the best of what we could scout to come in as a backup left-back. We didn't have anyone else in the squad who could even half play there. So to have Kennedy-Williams in just means that the Accrington loanee has got backup, and it gives us an option if we get an injury. So I'm happy enough with him. And then James Cook came in last but not least. He was the final director of football signing. 3.5-star ability, 5-star potential centre-half. Probably the best at the club now. And he's going to dislodge either the captain Toddler or it will be Ignacio, the other one, who's very good. So I'm not sure where we'll go with that, but 120 quid a week for a top quality centre-half. And he's had that schooling at Middlesbrough, who have a very good youth academy. He's also a defender whose strength is nearly 10 as well. Something we obviously talked about quite keenly in the first episode. If we go and have a look very quickly at the staffing, just a few additions to talk about there. Let's go and have a look at them. So we have got Chris Baird, who came in as a coach, Northern Irish, 79 caps. You all know him from Fulham, West Brom, Derby and the likes. Premier League player for years and a solid coach. He's going to work with us. We got Wayne Burgess in as a scout. He's got 6s and 7s, which seems to be the limit of what we can bring in. Based on our adverts, based on the suggestions from the assistant manager, they're the best ones that have come about. Alan McKenna's a chief scout, again 6s across the board for judgment. A sports scientist with 7 in Harry Towner. He's 23 though, so I hope he'll improve. Andy McGill's a head physio, about the same as Caitlin Davis, but we've got a team there now. So 2 that can work together to help us out. And we got a director of football who is woeful in terms of attributes, but as you saw, he brought in some decent players. 220 quid a week, Ross Jenkins, 2 for negotiating, 2 for potential, 4 for ability. Unambitious, but he seems to have brought in good players, so maybe the ratings don't mean so much. So that's all of the staff and player additions. Let me know in the comments what you think of them. Is there any way you can think cleverly to get around upsetting the owner? Because I can't think of any more. But let's have a look at the schedule just so we can see the 2 cup games we've played. In the first round, we nearly got shocked in the League Cup. Goalsfield, who are expected to finish further down our tier, they managed to get a 0-0 draw against us despite no shots and none on target. We had 1 fan there as well. But we did thankfully manage to win on penalties before a much more comfortable 3-1 win at home to Colwyn Bay. A few more of the new signings were in by then. 154 fans at Namport for the Cup as we managed to get through comfortably. O'Grady, Placeres and Tobler with the goals as we get through to the 3rd round, which will be against Holywell off camera straight after this game today. So we're going to face Buckley. If we go and have a look at the preview, we are still heavy odds on favourites. But as you can see, the side we are facing, Buckley, are among a host of sides expected to be in and around the bottom. I'd imagine they'll do alright. They've got some decent players in, but we should be winning a game like this. So let's go and see if we can live up to it. There's more fans in under the lights for a league game. They're telling us to go cautious against a side expected to finish near the bottom. So either that's poor assistant managing judgment, or we've got a lot to worry about. But this is the 11 and the tactic we've gone for. We're sticking with that central formation because we've got so many good centre mids. We did beforehand and we have now as well. We've still got the same attacking midfielder and defensive midfielder in. We've gone for Torres ahead of Tobler at centre half. And we've still got the keeper Barafaldi in. Aside from that, it's pretty much a new look 11. Though a few of that is down to injury. The likes of Dida and Isla both out at the moment. But what it does mean today is we've got Barafaldi in goal. We've got wing-backs of Bolton and Malden with Torres and Cook at centre-half. Garcia's still in that defensive midfield role. Atkinson and Healy in centre mid. And Mello playing in the number 10 position. And up front it is Fanian and O'Grady, the 2 new signings. Ziccarelli just coming back from an injury that kept him out the whole of pre-season. So we've got to be careful with him. And Yari's just coming back to fitness too. Boot misses out, so he won't get in the team today. But aside from that, it's pretty much as strong as we can be. Our tactic is very much based on being positive, keeping the ball in the middle of the pitch, playing to feet and playing at a higher tempo. So if we can get the ball through to the front 2 a lot, I'd fancy us to get goals. Mello's the man to unlock the defences and Malden and Bolton supporting with crosses if needed. So let's go and get into the first game of the season. Let me know what you think of the tactic, of course. Let me know what you think of the new players. And how do you think we're going to get on? It's going to be a big one as Bangor City start the league season. So here are the team sheets. I can honestly say that I only recognise one name in the home team, and that's Tyrone Afori, which does worry me a bit because in the warm-up I was doing on FM20 with Seth and Druids, Afori was the top scorer in the top tier with me. Probably better than Fanny Ann if we're being honest. But let's go and talk to the lads. We'll pump our fists. We'll say, go and prove why you're favourites for the game. No real reaction just yet. But let's go and get into the first half. It's an important game for us. And I'm just hoping we can get on the front foot. That's going to be the key here. So if we skip ahead to the first half, it's going to be a big one. We love this graphic, as we mentioned on the head coach. It's a fantastic little graphic to have. The expected goals bits at half-time really help as well. But we've got the first chance here as we're defending from Afori. And I'm not quite sure why both teams are playing in the same colour, as the ball's into Jenkins, is saved by Barafaldi. But why are both teams playing in red? How can we have this kick clash to start with? So it's going to be hard to make out, but we're on the front foot here. Atkinson loses it in the middle and Hinchcliffe brings it away. Though it's a good challenge in there. Falls for Owens. Cuts inside. It's a very slow tempo actually. Just going to speed it up a little bit just to see what difference it makes. Oh no, that's too quick. But we're in with O'Grady. Oh, he's put it in the corner. Brilliant goal, Chris O'Grady. It's just a ball over the top from Healy as the experience works out. And just like his first game in the Cup, O'Grady has got off the mark in the league. So the expected goals looking good, the stats looking good as Mello's corner in finds Fanian, and both strikers are off the mark now. Both creative midfielders getting an assist and both centre forwards getting a goal. And I'm getting a whole lot more confident about this league season. Buckley not expected to be near the top, of course, but Afori is a good player. So the fact we're winning this comfortably is good. As the ball's in again, I think Fanian was offside. And at half time, we're going to lead 2-0. And I think we're pretty happy with that half. The expected goal shows you the story in itself, and we've pretty much lived up to it. Only one shot on target for Buckley, we've had loads. We're just going to praise the lads. Keep it going, we're doing really well, and they're inspired and motivated. It's been the perfect start so far. And we're defending this time on the right hand side. It's so hard to tell why both teams were in red, I do not know. Just the shorts to make it out. As Moore picks it up in the middle, back to Taylor. Over the top towards Wainwright, but Bolton gets there. Long ball downfield, O'Grady will chase. But I'm not sure he's got the legs to get there anymore. Not in his mid-30s anyway. Out to Truman on the right-hand side. Long ball over the top. Jenkins is there. Oh, the keeper's got caught out. It's a poor mistake by Barafaldi. I'm not sure why he felt the need to come there. And we've given Buckley a route back into it. After all of that effort to get ahead, we could yet throw it away. Let's not get too excited. As it's a throw-in at right back for Buckley again. Into Jenkins. Switch of play finds Atkinson who intercepts. Mello picks it up. He's got O'Grady to his left. Picks it up out wide. Chance to cross it into the box from the wide area. Goes back to Atkinson instead. And his shot's just over the bar. Comfortable for the goalkeeper. He had it covered. As we're back again. Loads of key highlights in this one. Long clearance downfield which is intercepted by Malden. Finds Healy. I'm not quite sure why the match engine's slower on this. We've got far less leagues loaded. So it can't be anything to do with that. Probably just luck more than judgment. It is a beta, don't forget. As Mello gets in behind, it was a beautiful ball over. Is it Atkinson who played it, I think? And Mello's in behind to get off the mark. 3-1 Bangor. The 2-goal lead is restored. And on the hour mark, we can think about resting people soon. And it's Bolton with the ball at left back. A good free kick from him, placed short. Into Healy and now Garcia. Comes over halfway. He's got plenty of options, but instead goes back to Mello. Now to O'Grady and Healy. Back to Atkinson. O'Grady again. He's got a man over on the left, but goes back instead. Not the best pass, but Garcia does well with it. Cook finds Bolton. And don't forget, these players will only get better once they start gelling. They've not played together before, a lot of these. Even 4 or 5 of the deadline day signings weren't even in the cup games, weren't in the friendlies. As Bolton puts it into Fanian. It's 4-1 to Bangor. And we are running away with this. What a performance. What a win. And we're getting goals from everywhere now. Even though we're focusing down the middle, a goal created from a wide cross. I'm loving everything I'm seeing. Let's make some subs, 20 to go. So 3 substitutions made. Moore on for his debut at right back. Tobler replaces Ignacio at centre half. And we've also brought on Placeres in midfield because we had some tired legs in Ben Atkinson. Otherwise, a really good performance. We've got to the end and it looks fantastic. A 4-1 win on the road. A brilliant performance. Really clinical in front of goal as well. And I am very positive for the season based on that. We're going to tell the lads we're pleased. We're going to have a look at the review. But what a start to the season for Bangor City. There we go then. Top of the league after the 3 sides that have played tonight. Holywell won 5-2 at home to Llandudno. Perhaps one to watch out for. And Preseason lost. They're expected to finish bottom now. But that's a brilliant start to the season. I couldn't be happier with the league performance. Let's go and have a look at the schedule to see when we're next going to be back. So having a look at the pre-season predictions, Airbus were predicted to be 3rd. So I think we might as well have a look at that game next. We could have the first round of the Cup. We could have another League Cup tie. But we'll definitely come back for Airbus and one other game. Hopefully the squad will be gelling. It will be settled in quite well. We'll have to utilise a bit of it because we've got 2 games a week a lot of the time. But we will be back for Airbus UK, a big game in the title race, and we'll show one other of the cup ones around it as well. But if you did enjoy our first game with Bangor City, that brilliant performance, please do put a thumbs up on the video. Let me know in the comments what you thought of the transfer window, the signings, the tactic, the staff that we've added, and if you know any way around the based in Italy and Argentina players that I can find at the moment, because I'm not quite sure what to do with that club culture item. If you haven't already, subscribe down below for daily FM21 content from 2 long-term stories. After the few initial days where we've got double headers, the head coach and this series with Bangor will rotate every single day on the channel. And we've got our live stream series throughout the beta of 5:30 every day with Wigan Athletic. The first one went off to a flyer. There was some very exciting news in that. So if you did miss that one yesterday, please do go back and check it out in the eye above. There's also a link there to the podcast that I'm part of. Loads of football chat over there as well. But a massive thank you for watching, your continued support with both series. I can't thank you enough for what you've done in the last few days. And I hope you continue to enjoy it as well. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.